Hey, thanks for tuning in to Unfair Sports. While you're here, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Appreciate it. It's time, Jimmy. Deshaun Watson. All of this craziness around him is now come to the forefront, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we think so. As many of you know, over this past week, the grand jury decided to not file criminal charges against Deshaun Watson. So he won't be doing any jail time for that. The 22 civil suits, to my understanding, still stand. So that is still, within the
And I
court
believe he
processes of
settled with
litigation.
like 8 or 9 of them.
He had. Would you say it again? New information.
I think he settled with like 8 or 9 of them.
Okay, so some settlements along the way, but either way, he cleared a major hurdle in not incurring any criminal charges, and now he is one step closer to negotiating with teams, to working out a trade, and potentially moving on with his football career. Before we get into those teams, Jay, one thing I will mention is that any teams that are interested in him, and I mean, I understand why they would be, because he's a Pro Bowl quarterback. To me, he's a top 10, top 12 quarterback in the league.
I think he's a top quarterback in the NFL.
Okay, yeah, fine. Yeah, that's fine too. They understand that because of the league's conduct policy, even when he's worked through the civil cases, he's probably going to incur a 6 or 8 game suspension. So you have to be set up for that. But outside of that, I mean, he led the league in passing yards the last time he played a full season, one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. So what we know now, or what we think we know now, is that he has meetings set up with the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. And I hear that there are several other teams who are going to be meeting with him as well. And I think you have something on this, Jay.
Yeah. So I kind of want to talk about some of the complexities with this, because there's levels to this Deshaun Watson piece. And I understand everyone's outrage or upsetness at the fact that he's allowed to go make all this money and play this game. And this is the one thing I'm going to have to tell everybody. And this is the unfortunate thing around this whole situation. Sometimes bad people are good at doing things. When Bomani Jones said that one time about Kurt Schilling, I got it.
Yeah.
It clicked for me. I hate it. Because personally, with the way that the grand jury did, that didn't mean that he was innocent. It's just that they didn't have enough evidence to actually charge him with criminal charges. But that doesn't absolve him of any type of guilt or innocence whatsoever. It's not going to move forward in that capacity. Maybe the prosecution did a really bad job of putting things together. I don't know. Or he may be innocent. We don't know any of this. But with that many people coming forward, it's concerning. It's very concerning. But at the same time, the NFL is not the legal system. And we have to stop pretending like they are. We have to stop pretending like they are the moral compass. The reason why I say we need to stop pretending that is because no matter what happens in the league, for the most part, you're still going to watch the games. We keep saying that we're going to boycott the NFL. We're going to stop doing this. We're going to stop. No. You're going to turn it on. You're going to watch it. I know people that have stopped watching the NFL. I also know people that have stopped watching the NFL and had turned it right back on a few years later. At a certain point, you're going to get past it. The NFL is a machine. It's not going to stop. It's almost impossible to bring down. Only God can destroy this league. And until God's ready for this, if you're a believer or not, unless this higher being is ready to destroy this league, it ain't going nowhere. And so with this situation with him, it is very much unfortunate. It does suck. A lot of these women are going to be settling, and they're going to take some financial compensation and move on. I pray that they have therapy and they can move forward their lives. I pray that he has to pay for their therapy, something. But at the same time, the dude's talented. He's very talented in this game. And it was proven when he went to that Houston Texans team and they were awful, and he was able to show how talented he truly is. So with that being said, go ahead and get past it. It didn't take but 24 hours to people to start talking about the trade market for this guy because he's news. Right? It's what it is, unfortunately. And I hate it. I do. But at the same time, sometimes bad people are good at things. And he's one of those that are great at a position that only 32 people can play. That's really hard to get in. So that being said, got the Panthers. You got the Saints. So the Colts tried to jump in the mix. And of course, the Texans said, hell to the no. We're not seeing him twice. So the way it looks is that the Texans are going to ship him to the NFC and not let him stay in the AFC. So that may be why the Steelers were out of play on this one, is because they're like, nah, we don't want to see him in our conference, period. He has to go out. So I'm thinking out of the teams that make the most sense for him, I think he's going to end up with the Saints. What you think?
Well, give me a reason as far as why you think he'll end up with the Saints.
Well, let me pull that back. If all things are perfect, I'd say the Saints, but I forgot to realize one thing. He has a no trade clause. So if he goes there, sees that roster, is like, nah, I'm good, he won't go play there. I don't see him going to Carolina. They don't have enough weapons offensively. I love Run CMC, but that's it. Right? Wasn't that the issue with Cam and everybody else that was there? They just really didn't have any actual weapons.
I'll give you one dark horse candidate that I want you to consider,
Okay.
who are in need of a starting quarterback in the NFC, and that is the Seattle Seahawks. What about them?
Yes. You got the Seahawks. I had two teams, the Seahawks and the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles, I thought about them too. I mean, if they need to decide if they are in or out on the Jalen Hurts business. If you're out, then you need to go all in on this, because the Eagles, they do have some talent on that roster on both sides of the ball. So they've got to decide, which of the two they truly want. I think with Seattle, you have two really good receivers in Lockett and Metcalf. They're going to have to rebuild the defense, obviously, especially losing their captain in Bobby Wagner, who was there when the Legion of Boom was. You moved on from Russ. So they're in a position to where they're already communicating that we're rebuilding this from the ground up. Well, not from the ground up. It's kind of a soft rebuild, a soft reboot. But having someone like Deshaun Watson can accelerate that. And I could see someone like Pete Carroll, whose career has been checkered here and there by some morally questionable things. I think he would be very comfortable with this type of situation. So that'll probably be my first choice, is Seattle, in terms of where I think he might go. Outside of that, I would give the Panthers a leg up on the Saints, because the Panthers, they do have an offensive coach. Again, it depends on what they do with Christian McCaffrey, but you have DJ Moore, who's a Pro Bowl wide receiver. You have Terrace Marshall out of LSU, who a lot of people don't know about. He's going to be a really good receiver. And last season, for about the first half of the season, the Panthers had one of the best defenses in football because of all the draft capital. They had an entire draft of nothing but defensive players. So there are some pieces there that he has to like, and I'll put the Saints third. So that's what I think so far.
So this weekend, there was a little bit of controversy around Jalen Hurts' Twitter bio. He took off every reference to the Eagles.
What is it with Oklahoma quarterbacks doing that?
I don't know.
Is that just an OU thing? What is that? I know he's part Bama, but still, I mean, come on.
They may be.
Come on.
They may think that he's going to be out the door. Or, hey, heck, the Cardinals might even trade for Deshaun Watson and send Kyler Murray in exchange. They already got Hopkins.
That would be interesting. I did not think of that. That'd be reuniting. That'd be interesting.
Reunite quarterback with wide receivers. Send Kyler down because they don't want to pay him, and take Watson because they know he's proven and they just don't care.
Because Kyler he's already given them a deadline, right? Either pay me by the draft or else.
Yeah. Or else I go play baseball. So they send him down to Houston. He'll probably be like, nah, I ain't playing here, bro. I'm out. Well, Lovie Smith is down there, so I think he'd be fine if he decides to stay. So, but yeah, it's going to be a complicated situation. It's going to be very uncomfortable talking about this. Just be prepared. People are going to still talk about it. You're going to hear about it a lot. It's the unfortunate part of professional sports that if you're talented, for the most part, people don't care. Unless the actual courts, the justice system do their job, don't expect the league to do it for them. Just don't expect it.
I mean, you are 100% right when it comes to that, and that's something that we in American sports, we have to accept about ourselves. That, like you said, bad people will continue to be allowed to play this game. Essentially bad people, because Antonio Brown is going to play football this season. Conor McGregor keeps getting multi-million-dollar deals to fight in the UFC. So no matter what they've done, unless it's just that terrible, you're going to keep seeing them. I mean, and there's something like figures like this, like Antonio Brown, like Conor McGregor, like perhaps even Deshaun Watson. There's this intrigue around the villain that you often see, in films, especially modern films, how we are more interested in the villain now, or how villains tend to drive sports more than heroes do. So, so you're exactly right with that Yeah, he might have been a bad person. He might have done some things that he does need to pay for. Even if he would have gone to jail for a year or two, whatever it was, he gets out, 10 teams are going to line up to sign him because they see that talent.
There's going to be opportunity for redemption if you're still talented, even though for Kaepernick, that's not a situation he's going to get. Even though Seattle could use a quarterback, I mean, they did work him out and they liked him. Why wouldn't you take that opportunity for a couple years as a stopgap while you try to find yourself a quarterback? So we'll see what happens with there. We'll see what happens.